Hey, what's up? Good morning, everybody. My name is Austin Brewster. I'm a nurse coach, and I have a client asking me about weight loss. So I'm going to give my, little few bullet points on what is most important for weight loss. So we'll just run the list down and we'll talk about them, as we go. So, first thing I'm going to say is, for my understanding of trying all the diets, I think that a proper human diet should be below 100 grams of carbohydrates a day, minimum, maximum is what I should say. The goal would be, for some people, the goal is going to be zero. And for some people is to hit that 100 grams of carbs. And, on an individual basis, when I'm talking to you, and we're figuring out how your body metabolizes energy, we'll be able to find out whether or not you need carbs or you don't need carbs, or, depending on the problems that you are experiencing. And you should only eat those carbohydrates in the terms of content of weight loss sense, and fat reduction sense. You should only eat those carbohydrates around workouts. Never before bed, only around workouts. That is a very key point. You want to burn those carbohydrates right away and get back into a fat burning state. Number two would be cortisol reduction. And, the major things I can think that spike cortisol are caffeine or waking up, being human. You should have a cortisol spike in the morning. A lot of people are artificially spiking it with caffeine, or artificially spiking it with, first thing that they do is they look at their phone right away. And then that just sends signals to your brain that it's daytime without seeing the sunrise. And I talk about the sunrise a lot, but you tell your body that it's daytime, that cortisol will spike from an artificial source earlier than it should. And that disrupts your sleep. That takes me into that next point. Your sleep cycle starts in the morning. As soon as you wake up, your body should be priming to go to bed that night. And it should be this cyclical thing. You should have great energy until the sun goes down. Then energy should just kind of, you naturally should want to go to sleep. So cortisol reduction means no lights and no screens after sunset. No caffeine before the first hour of the day, and managing stress. And there's a lot of ways that we manage stress. Biggest things I can think about is walking and exercising, getting optimal sleep, reducing caffeine, reducing sugar. Those are the main ones I can think to reduce stress for somebody. Number three, you got to prioritize protein and fat and single ingredient whole foods. And it's got to be high quality, bioavailable foods. And the nutrients in all foods are not the same. They're not the freaking same. And the bioavailability is the most important factor when eating foods, is how much of this will actually be absorbed. Because I'll just, when you're eating more bioavailable foods, I'll just put it this way so it's understandable. When you eat more bioavailable foods, you have less waste. You have less stool. When you eat less bioavailable foods, you have more stool. Period. And that stool is waste. So that is your body not using it. You're speeding up the digestion when you are eating non-bioavailable foods because your body's trying to get rid of it. And that's the best way I can put it. So you have to prioritize bioavailability and protein and fat when you're trying to lose weight. And it's got to be single ingredient whole foods, not powders and these isolates and these processed foods, processed protein and processed fat. And specifically, you 100% should be eating more animal-based, protein and fat. I mean, fat doesn't even exist in the plant kingdom, but hardly. But should be animal-based, and those foods will give you much more nutrients per nutrient density. They'll give you much more nutrients per bite. So that's one big thing. Daily walking. I recommend starting with 4 10-minute walks every single day. When you wake up, after breakfast, midday, and after dinner would be good time. And, brings me to another point. How many meals a day should I eat? It's really going to depend on where you're at. Some people already are eating 1 meal a day. Some people are eating, 5 meals a day. I am going to shy away from saying multiple small meals a day is a good idea. I don't think so. I would say that 3 meals a day maximum would be ideal, and they should be, maybe 2 smaller meals and 1 big meal, ideally. And you can eat them at the regular meal times. It's just, you want to eat them when the sun is up. You want to eat them when in between sunrise and sunset. You don't want to eat after dark or when it's dark out. That's not when the body is prepared for food, period. Sleep, huge one. Huge one when it comes to weight loss, and it kind of contributes to the stress response. And, at night, our body is trying its best to get into fat burning mode. And if you don't allow your body to get into fat burning mode by having cortisol high at night, having insulin high at night because you ate some carbohydrates before night, you don't have the adequate melatonin production to do it. And your body is just too awake when you lay down because you just got done watching a movie, 5 minutes ago, staring at a screen, and, you're not going to sleep right. It's just, you're not. So those sleep things, having adequate sleep and is super important. And, a number, how do I put a number on it? That's research, the people say 79 hours. I find for me, I can sleep 5 hours sometimes, but then sometimes my body calls for 9 to 10. And I let it happen. I just sleep for 9 to 10 hours. Obviously, I don't sleep in past my responsibilities, and I never, it's hard for me to wake up past 6:30, 7:30. But for example, I'll go to bed at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. I don't care. It's bedtime. I'm tired. My body's saying, hey, you need to go to sleep. I go to sleep. I'm not worried about anything else. I don't care about any show or whatever. I don't really watch much TV anyway, but when it's time to sleep, I listen to my body, let my body, tell me the cues that I need, and I go to sleep. And I always feel tremendously better after I get my, 9 hours of sleep, that night. So supplements, I really don't recommend any specific supplements for weight loss. A lot of the supplements thing to me is just adding on more. We have this idea that more is always going to be better when we add more things in, that it's going to somehow improve things. And I know people that are taking 50 different supplements a day and still in the same exact spot that they were, and I was one of those people. I've got I got a lot of supplements, to say the least. And I used a lot of them, and now I don't use any. So I don't know if I said this at first, but weight loss versus fat reduction, you really need to put that in your head. Are you trying to lose fat, or do you just want that number? Why do you want that number? What matters about that number? If you looked exactly how you want to look, but you're 50 pounds over that number, are you going to be okay with that? If you look exactly how you want to look, but you're 50 pounds over that number, are you going to be okay with that? Not going to be, you might be 10 pounds, you might be 15 pounds, and you might look exactly how you want to. Does that number still matter? No, it doesn't. That number does not matter. You want to lose fat in the areas that matter most. That's my opinion. Your metabolic rate, you got to speed up your metabolic rate. And muscle is more metabolically active than fat is. It's the most one of the, other than the brain, the heart, and the lungs, it's very metabolically active, amongst the most metabolically active organs. And so you need to optimize your muscle building, and that starts with resistance training. Resistance training and burst cardio, never long cardio, but burst cardio, meaning a very fast sprint, or, possibly even trying to think of an upper body, burst style exercise, high intensity is what burst means for short duration. So high intensity with short burst and lifting weights, resistance training. And there's a lot of camps. You should do high rep resistance training. You should do heavy weight, low rep resistance training. That's individual too. It's kind of how do you want to work out? Because the research doesn't, you get the same benefits from 5 reps and 30 reps. That's what the research kind of shows. It basically shows that it's not much of a difference, until you get to that elite level, it doesn't really matter, but as long as the intensity is right. So you got to get the right intensity for the resistance training. And then last point is going to be water weight and hydration and sodium intake. So these low sodium diets that has been promoted for a long time from the ADA and the AHA and stuff like that, really are detrimental, because when you don't have enough salt, and especially when you're not eating the right kind of salt, your body will hold on to all the salt that it has, and because it's holding on to so much water, and it's gotta have an even amount of water and salt, because wherever salt goes, water goes. And you want to keep that good concentration for the cells to actually communicate, and for the cells to communicate. Gotta hydrate enough is a big thing. And water it needs to be clean water. Ideally, in my world, reverse osmosis water that has been remineralized with unrefined salt is the best water that we can find around here naturally, without having to go to the store and buying a bunch of certain water. And that water in the store still has got other problems, but reverse osmosis water really is the best, but it's got to be remineralized. That's the only sort of drawback, but it means whatever. You throw a couple pinches of unrefined salt in there and it's remineralized enough. It's better than purified water, or it's better than just regular bottled water in most cases. So that's another big one. And the hydration, like how much a day, can't quantify that for everybody on a general scale, but drink when you're thirsty is the best way I can put it. Just drink when you're thirsty. And you should always start your day with water. That's another good point that I should bring up. You start your day right away, drink about, I'd say at least a half a liter in the morning, at least right away. And I drink a liter, but like right away. Like I'll just take 2 big glasses, 2 16-ounce glasses, and just throw it down. I feel a lot better, but at least a half a liter in the morning. Start there. And then kind of already talked about sodium and water weight and hydration. So those are just some general tips on weight loss that I can think of off the top of my head. I hope that helps some people. I'm sure it will. If you have any more specific questions, DM me, get a hold of me through Facebook. Some of you have my number, but get a hold of me through Facebook. DM me coach, and we can talk about coaching if you're interested. Okay, thank you.